everyone. Thank you so much for joining this session today. I'm going to be talking about how to use LinkedIn to build professional development and especially for career development. So I'm a huge fan of LinkedIn for the longest time. And the reason is very simple, right? Think of maybe about 20 years ago or even 10 years ago, if there's somebody very important you want to get to know, how would you get to know that? Like, for example, maybe you want to know who is the CEO of Citibank in Singapore, right? How would you have access and how would you know these people? So 10 years ago, it would be very difficult to have access to these people. Now provides a way to have unprecedented access. Essentially, you don't have to no longer live in your own circle of contacts. LinkedIn helps you to break down doors and build contact outside your circle. So for me, I think of kind of like LinkedIn is a way to make the world very flat and help me to build contacts outside. So the discussion of today, the agenda is going to be very simple. I'm going to show you how to build a LinkedIn profile that is engaging, and it shows your passions as a person, and it shows your career accomplishment and your career aspirations. So why is doing this an important thing? This is because more and more people, they are going online to recruit you. And they're also looking at your profile to determine if they want to build relationship and do business with you or not. Your LinkedIn profile is your online professional brand. So this is very important. So, and a lot of companies right now, if you're looking for a job, they no longer ask you to send in a CV. They will ask you to send in your LinkedIn profile. Yeah, so I'm going to be going over how to do this. So let's get started. This is going to be a very exciting session. For sure, I owe my success, my career success through LinkedIn. So as an example, I was working in sales at Gartner, and I was in Singapore, and my job was to cover the Vietnamese market, and out of Singapore. And I didn't know at the time, I had to build relationship with CIOs, IT directors in Vietnam. And at the time I was in my late 20s, I didn't know any IT person in Vietnam. So I went on LinkedIn, I typed in a few names, and then from there, I found their contact information, and I reached out to them and I built a relationship. And to this day, some of those people are still my friends. And I was a person that cracked the Vietnamese market for Gartner, helping Gartner to enter Vietnam in a very big way and successfully build business relationships. So to me, I'm a huge fan of LinkedIn. I'm sure, I'm a bit biased as well because currently I'm also working for the company. So let's get started. If you have any questions at all as we go along, please just type the question directly onto the Facebook wall, the 24 to do Facebook wall, and then I will take a look at those questions and then I will answer them. Okay, so let's jump right in. I hope everyone can hear and see me okay. Because some people are having a hard time, so give me 1 second. All right, let me just go back to Facebook here. I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna type in, I'm gonna log in under Lily. Let me just answer some question here. Okay, so let me know if you have any problem with this. Otherwise, we're just gonna jump right in. Fu, are you there? Can you just confirm if you can see the broadcast? Awesome. Okay, she's in finally. Okay, so this is how, so I've also have created a Google Doc, and the Google Doc outlines for you the step on how to create an engaging LinkedIn profile. So I hope you have a chance to take a look at this Google document beforehand and have a chance to do the homework. So before we get started, I'm going to show you a few examples of how a LinkedIn profile should look like, and then we'll go from there. Yeah. So the first thing is, if you go into, as an example, we can look at my LinkedIn profile first, but we can look at a few others later. So the LinkedIn profile, this is what it looks like. Now, if you are going to be using this as a CV, as a resume, right? First thing first, you need to put in a picture, and the picture, please have some picture where you are smiling, looking very engaging, looking directly at the camera and very engaging and open. Then what you want to do next is when you want to scroll down here and you want to write a summary. Yeah. So the summary part is very important. Why is the summary part important? Now, if you just go to some other people's summary, it could be very short. So like, let me just randomly click on somebody else's profile, right? If you go to somebody else's summary, it could be very short. What I want you to do more in this case, like for example here, let me just click on, see, like this person here does not even have a picture. Oh, she does have a picture, but she does not have a summary. So if they're looking to hire you, right, for a job, or they're looking to do business with you, in Fu's case, they're looking, to decide if they're going to do any sort of business with her or not. And then you come in here and you don't see anything about the summary part. You're missing a very key point. So what does a summary do? The summary is essentially a part that explains about you who, as a person, who you are. And why is that important? Because there's this amazing author named Simon Sinek, and he talks about it is very important when you talk to somebody new or people in general, you give them a why before you give them the what. So your LinkedIn profile, just go into the what. I host 5 conferences. I'm now in digital marketing. You're telling them the what. The why is, why are you doing this? Why are you in digital marketing? Why are you in hospitality? Why are you working in hotels, right? Why are you like hosting conferences? Why are you working IT? The why part is very important. And people like to deal powers like to deal with power. So people like to deal with other people that are also similar to them, or at least they think of as peers. So the moment that you're talking about a summary, like a story about who you are, and this summary is going to be probably the hardest part that you need to write in a LinkedIn profile. You just need to write, like for me, I first started out with a quotation. And you can search many quotations. You just go to Google, you type in inspirational quotes, and you have many, many quotes. You pick out a quotation that kind of summarizes what you believe, right? Like, for example, you can say like time is money or whatever that you believe. Then you start talking a story about who you are. For me, a story about me is I'm very clear. I am a person that fundamentally motivated by change and by progress. I have seen in Vietnam what happens when people don't have any other means to grow. Their life, kind of just become almost like they don't get to live to their full potential. So it's actually for me, very difficult to see that. So for me, I dedicated my life to, it's all about to creating impact and creating progress. And as such, I took on many different jobs. If you look through my job background, it's very strange. It's like, oh, wow, Lily done anti-human trafficking. And now she's like, working on LinkedIn. And now she's doing this for college grads, she's mentoring college grads. Why is it so different? But the fundamental theme in my story is that I believe in change and I believe in progress. So you need to just sit back and think about who you are. Why do you want to work in logistics? right? What do you believe like the future is going to hold? And as such, why do you want to contribute your entire life, or at least like the next 5 years of your life, into this industry? You're passionate to stand out. And once you're passionate to stand out, people will love it, because people love working with other people who are passionate, who are ambitious, and who are, their passion is contagious. Yeah. So the summary part here, please take some time. One really funny story that I've read, this guy, the first line was, I'm 40 years old and I have 35 years of sales experience, right? And then he goes into telling a story about when he was 5 years old, he started selling cookies and, candies to his family, something like that, which is a great story. At least it shows to me that he's very, he's very passionate about doing what he does, right? So the summary part here, then give me a second here. I'm just going to go back to this just to check in if there's anybody has any questions. So if you have questions, just please directly join into the 24 to-do group and then just post directly on the wall. Yeah, so that I can get a ping, and then I will answer your questions. And feel free to ask questions anytime. Okay, next I'm going to open up a new window tab for you to look at another person's LinkedIn profile. This is somebody I know. Darren is a great guy, and he's right now it's a final year at NTU in Singapore. So I pick a different example that's a lot closer to some of the people here to show you, another great example. Yeah. So the summary part, if you read this is also really awesome, right? So he started with a quotation as well. The best way to predict the future is to create it. Yeah. So just by reading a simple quote, you already have a feeling for who Darren is, right? Then he talks next. He used a lot of words like believe, right? Because it's your passion. So he's an avid believer in chasing the vision, wherever that might take you. So you're reading this and you're like, wow, this guy definitely is somebody very committed. So then he also, the next word, used the word believe again. I believe in the next wave of entrepreneurship, right? So then you go down, passionate. I'm also extremely passionate about not just starting up, but helping out. Right. So Darren is a great guy. I asked his permission to use a LinkedIn profile here, and he's happy to share. So if you read this LinkedIn profile, just a summary part, you already have a sense of who this person is. And now I also just want to say, please, just don't copy and paste other people's summary, because when you go through a job interview, people will find out. It's just best that you stick to what you believe in. And it's going to be a little bit hard, but just watch my other talk about how to discover your passion in life. That may give you some examples. Oh, another great way, let me go back to this. Another great way of how are you going to feel inspired is check out this page. This is a really amazing page. This is a LinkedIn interview, 150 people that are 35 and under. So, people that are not that much older than you. Yeah. And these are people who are essentially the top in their industries, and they're changing the world. So I want you to take a look at this. You can scroll down. It has different industry. It has media, it has energy, real estate, whatever industry you're in. So like, for example, if you're going to be in finance, you can click on finance. Then you can click on one of these profile. When you click on the profile, it gives you a short story about this person. And you can click on profile and feel more about and look at their profile. But just reading a story about these people, you have a sense of who these people are and what drives them. All of these people that are featured on this page are very passionate individuals, people who want to contribute. And if when you read this and you feel like, wow, I also want to, do something similar. Hello, cat. Sorry, there's a cat. I wish you can see him. Then when you're doing something like this, then you can be more inspired. And after you read this, go back and write your own summary. Okay, so that's what I really want you to do. So that's the summary part. Now we're going to move into the experience part. And yeah, feel free to ask any questions. Otherwise, I just feel like I'm talking to myself. Okay, fantastic. So let me just go back to the, this is Darren's page. I'm going to go into the experience part. Okay, so the experience part here, I'm just going to highlight. If you go down to here, the experience part, this is where essentially it's a resume, right? It's a resume. So you put out your job title, you put in your link, whichever company that you work for in the past, intern or something like that. And this is a typical resume. Now, a resume needs to start out with very strong verbs. So in this case, Darren used verb like spearheaded, drove, right? Initiated, provided. Very strong word. This is a normal resume writing. But if you take a look here, you notice that he does his best to quantify a number, right? Because if you're just claiming something, okay, like for example, I have managed a team of 10 people, something like that, and you don't give any specific numbers of the impact, then nobody's going to believe you. So it's very important that whatever statement that you say, you need to stop and provide a number, some sort of impact, metrics that goes along with it. So think very hard about this. Part doesn't have to be long. But what Darren's example is missing is, let me go back to my example and I will show you why is my example a little bit different from his. So we're going back to my LinkedIn profile page. Okay. You scroll down here. I actually, first of all, I would have a line about what the position, what the company does. Because say, for example, say even if you work at, take a company like say SMRT, right? The train station, right? Maybe other people, like maybe outside Singapore, doesn't have an idea what SMRT is. So if you just say like, I'm an intern at SMRT, people doesn't know what SMRT is. So you might want to have one line describing what SMRT does, and that's easy, right? So copy in the line. Now, what you want to do next is, if you're using your LinkedIn profile as a cover letter, as a resume, then it should look like Darren, right? It should talk about, it should highlight your key responsibility at the company. But if you're using my LinkedIn profile like Fu, the way that Fu and I uses it, which is not to look for a job, because we already, in a job. And if you want to use it mainly to build relationship with people, then you don't really need to describe what you do at work. Like, I make 10 phone calls a day. Like, people don't care about that, right? Like, for people who already have a job and want to use LinkedIn to reach out to new people so that you can do sales, you can do marketing, then you just need to describe your company's value proposition. Okay, so this is the part right here. What Darren's also missing is that you can actually embed marketing content directly into this part. So marketing content directly into here. So as an example, like here, if I want to see what LinkedIn does, I click on here, there's actually a video. Sorry. View profile as. This is very easy to do. You can click on this and then now it's a video. Okay. Now, for all of those college students or, or for all those people who are looking for a job, I suggest you do something creative. That means if you have, like in the past, have any videos about you, whether it's a project you've done at university where you give a speech, or, or you're already working right now and you went on stage and you gave a speech as well, or, a project about like describing one of the product you've done, any video about you, I would also upload it in here. Okay, so this is very important that you go ahead and upload rich media into this. I don't see any questions coming through. I don't know if that's just me or not, but make sure you have any questions. Oh, how come it isn't pops too? All right, now I see the questions. Okay. All right, I'm going to answer these questions in the end because they're more like about the art of using LinkedIn. But right now, let me just walk through what the LinkedIn profile should look like first. Okay. So after you write the experience part here, right? Like I said, use strong verbs and have actual metrics to show that, and then put in videos directly. Okay. The next part is that you should have recommendations, and how recommendations look like is very simple. Like for me here, you know, under peer mentor here, Phương actually make a recommendation for me, like, oh, you know, she's at NTU and she met me and how I mentor her. So having a recommendation is really important. Who should you ask for recommendation? Okay, this is very key. Now, if you're looking for the person that should make a recommendation should be either your boss, your colleagues, or your client. Okay, so the people that you're directly working with. If you are not looking for a job, you already have a job, and you want to kind of like have recommendations, then it should be your clients who are work with you. So like in Fu's case, she works in events, she hosts events and that sort of thing. Then she should have other people who like attended the events as speakers write her recommendation. That should speak really powerful endorsement for Fu. Okay. All right. So I'm going to talk about one last thing, which is this is something that is going to elevate you. This is only for the advanced users, but this is something really awesome, which is right now you can publish a post. You can publish a post, and if you go to my LinkedIn profile, you saw that I published several posts. I published a post about sales. I published a post about like how to use LinkedIn. So I have published several posts. Now, publishing a post is kind of like writing an essay. Okay, this is really important to establish that you know your industry. So let me give you an example. You're going to be interviewing in the logistics industry, you know, for kind of like a manager role or something like that, that you want to publish an article that you write yourself on where do you think the industry is going, what do you think are the big trends on, things like that. Okay, why is this important? This is important so that when the interviewers, when the headhunters, they're looking at your profile, just give me a second, let me move to a place that's less noisy. So if other people, they are looking at your profile, okay, then you know, if they're looking to hire you, then they can see that, oh wow, this person actually really know his or her stuff, and that's why this person have already published a post, right? Because then they think, oh, this person is more like an expert. Now, this is even more important if you want to switch industry. Okay, for example, we have somebody on this phone call right now, I'm not going to say who, is looking to move from the industry that she's in into a new industry. So let's just say hospitality into internet. Okay, and she doesn't have much background in IT and internet. So what can she do? You need to show that you're very passionate about this new industry. So then what I would encourage you to do is publish a post on this. So like, for example, if you want to move into a sales role for like, just say Facebook, okay, which is all about digital marketing, then you need to spend a week or two really research about Facebook, what they do with the clients and stuff like that, and then write an article, you know, just stating like what you believe that this product can do for the future, and give some insights about where do you think this is going. Now again, right, 80% of your research could build on other people's experiences. You don't have to write research from scratch. You just use, you know, quoting other people, that's fine. But 20% should be your own thoughts. Okay, so I hope this is clear, but this is only for the advanced users. But this is going to help set you apart from the rest of the other candidates, because you have published something that is useful. And then when you publish it, please, you know, tag your friends, send it around to your contacts, ask them to comment, ask them for feedback. That would be very useful. But if you publish it and no one reads it, then yeah, that has no credibility anyway. So I know this is very time consuming, guys, but if you're working toward a perfect job, then I suggest you just go ahead and focus. This is because other people are not. And if you're going to take the time to do this, you will definitely stand out. Okay? Alrighty. So let me just sit over here where it's a bit more quiet for you. And then I will take a look at your questions, and then I will answer them. Oh, I think there's something else. Okay. I even include for you how to ask for recommendations. Yeah, because remember, guys, please, this is really important. When you're asking people to connect on LinkedIn, or when you're asking for recommendations, you're asking for favors. You need to be really, really polite. You need to explain to them why this is important to you. You need to give them an option to say no. And you need to sincerely thank them, and you need to offer some help in return. I know that it actually is a Vietnamese trait, it's a Vietnamese characteristic to not say thanks so much, because we're thinking, oh, that's just being too formal. Guys, please, I actually cannot tell you how many times people, like Vietnamese young people, contacted me asking for help. And in the email, there's not even one word of thank you. I know some person isn't thankful, they just forgot. It's not acceptable. So please make sure you thank them and offer something in return. So I included an example here on how to ask for recommendations. Okay. And I even show you how to send requests for alumni. Okay. So once you fix up your LinkedIn profile, the way I show you to, but please fix it up first. Because if you don't fix it up and you just go ahead and connect to people, you're wasting your opportunities. Yeah. Because if you just, doing that, then it's very wasteful because they don't know anything about you. So let me show you how to search for it. It's very simple. You log into LinkedIn. So here, I'm going to tell you this, and it's very important. I want you to start making a habit of searching and reaching out to new people on LinkedIn. Maybe you can do one person a day. One person a day is not bad. Okay, so it's 7 people a week. The reason why you should do that, at least for the next month or so, is so that you could build new network. And when you reach out to them, don't think oh, I'm don't expect anything too much. Just simply reaching out to them so that you can learn from them. Okay. And what I'm showing you essentially is, if you do this, you will have so much more competitive advantage than other people, because other people, they're still living within their same circle. So imagine if you're a fresh grad, right? Or you're working professional. Let's just say 100 people around you. And if you just keep contacting with those 100 people around you, you're not expanding your network. I'm showing you a way so that you can reach out and build a relationship to almost, anyone in the world. So imagine the power of making the world so small. So first, let's just show you how to do a quick search. Once you do a quick search, then you can go ahead and, and then reach out to people. Like say, first thing is that you need to find out who went to your university. So the alumni, who are the alumni that could potentially, you want to build a relationship with, and that you can potentially learn from. So you go to LinkedIn, log into LinkedIn, click on this tab right here, the upper right hand corner. It's called Advanced. Click on it. Then you're gonna go in here. You're gonna underscore. So for me, I went to University of California, Berkeley as an example. Okay, I'm going to type in that. And then if I'm going to go down here under schools, I just want to make sure that it's the right school here. So University of California, Berkeley. So I click on that. That's easy. Yeah. Now you need to, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to narrow down by location. So like, for example, I'm looking for people in Singapore. I'm going to do that. Type down Singapore. Okay. Then the next thing if I want to do is I can click down by, let's see, what else can you click by? Probably keywords. So if you're interested, like, let me just say digital marketing as an example, you can search for anything. Okay, so then here is a list and it would tell me, look, these are the people who have gone to my university, same one I attended, who are currently working in digital marketing in Singapore. Okay, so I can, like, for example, Wendy, if I want to build a relationship with Wendy, right, I just click on connect here. But please look through the links, yeah, and connect. And then you can copy and paste my message in here, right? And then make sure that you look through the LinkedIn profile very thoroughly first to identify the common points, pay close attention. And then, you know, in this case, you can say, like, let me just look at Wendy. Yeah, so she's been working in this space for a long time, actually, since 2007, right? And then you come up, you see what her specialties are. Then, you know, you click on connect, and then you type a message to her. Okay. Then once you connect to her, I think Mai has a question, and she said, while asking to connect, what is a young professional, not much in experience, can do, can ask to offer in return? So that's a great question. Now, the first thing first, when you're reaching out to connect to somebody, you can only type in a very small message. Okay, so in this case, you know, you don't have to explain anything too much. You're only asking for connection. And it's okay if you can just say, like, you know, I look up to your work, and if there's anything I can help in return, let me know. It's okay, you can just say that. Or, you know, if they're not from Singapore, like, say, let's just say you live in Singapore and then they don't live in Singapore, you can offer, like, oh, if you do come to Singapore, happy to show you around, right? So if you're asking to connect, you don't have to offer anything too much. Okay, but then after they already have connected you, right, and you're asking them to have coffee with you, then you can write a longer message because they have already connected to you. Then, you know, then you can explain a little bit more. And in that case, they're actually not really looking for you to offering them anything really a lot. Essentially, they're looking to see if you're passionate about your work and if you understand their work. So if you take the time to deep dive into their LinkedIn profile, to read their posts, to Google them online before you meet them, so that you can write a nice message to them, that amount of respect that goes into the message writing is already really thoughtful. And, you know, people would respond to that. So imagine Mai, okay, let's just say Mai, like, now I want to get to know you. Like, you say, I don't know who you are. Okay, like, I have no idea who you are. I found you on LinkedIn, yeah, and say I'm moving from Vietnam to Virginia. I know you're in Virginia, right? And if I've done some research about you, read your LinkedIn profile, and I write, hey Mai, you know, I love your work. You know, you are so you spend a lot of time in school, and you're so helpful to your community, and you've done a lot of research. You know, I love your work, and I'm coming by Virginia. You know, would it be possible if I just, you know, have coffee and learn more about your work? Likely you say yes, because the person already took down the time to really get to know your work. Okay, so that should be your first question. Second question they have, and if anybody else have any questions, let me know. Should we make sure that everyone we add on LinkedIn, should we make sure that we know everyone we add on LinkedIn, or just try to add as many as possible? They are people who added me without introducing themselves. They even ignore my introduction message. Okay, so the thing is, I don't suggest you just go through and add like 400 people a day. That's not good. But you can add people you don't know. If you specifically think that you want to genuinely want to learn from them, please be sincere. Yeah, please be sincere. So like, and don't have such a big agenda. Like, don't think, oh, you know what, this person works at Google and so I really want a job at Google, that's why I'm adding person. First, just trying to learn from their work. Just invite them to coffee and genuinely learn from their work. Yeah, and if there's something come up, then they can help you, but don't ask for it. It's not, it's you know, it's not good. Like the moment they connected you and then you reach out to them and say, hey, can you help me with a job? Right? So please be very respectful here. Okay, next question. Also, Mai has a question. I would suggest to use third person introduction paragraph to sound professional. No, I don't ever think you should use third person. Like, oh, um, you know, Mai is a third year student and Mai is looking to move to, no. Just be yourself. Yeah. So just ask, just be yourself. So let me see if there's any other questions. Otherwise, we can wrap up. Okay. So I don't see any other questions on here or on here. So you guys, I think this is probably going to be it for me. I do want to make sure just to give you, so the first thing I want you to do is that if you want to use your LinkedIn profile as a CV, as a resume, then just follow this link. First, create a very engaging profile, right? Summary, and then also experience session, recommendations, and then after you have the LinkedIn profile down, then you can go ahead and reach out to people. Make a habit, maybe for the first month, of reaching out one person a day. So that's like 30 people a month, right? You don't have to do it every day. You can do 5 a day and then you can take a break. That's fine too, no problem. But make sure you be selective and make sure you really read the LinkedIn profile to understand and, you know, and be polite. Yeah. So I think Fu has a question. Let me just click on it really quickly. Guys, please don't private message me. Just post it on the thingy unless it's really private. Because then it doesn't ping. Hi G, I want to make the most of posting updates on LinkedIn besides sharing news and update in the industry, the job you're doing. What else can we do? Okay, so she has a question that is mainly relating to building thought leadership. That means ultimately you have a LinkedIn profile page like this, and what she does is that she shares an update. Yeah, so like she's looking through news article, like for example, if you work in digital marketing and you want to other people to think of you as an expert, then you will read a lot of news about digital marketing from BBC News or, you know, whatever, New York Times or whatever, that's new article about, and you post it here to share thought leadership. Yeah, she's asking me what else can she do. I would say first, if you do a really good job at finding the good content, then it's already 80% okay. And don't always talk about your own company, please. The rule of thumb is you can share 4 general news about the industry trends and then 1 news about your company. Okay? The next level up is to publish a post. And we already talked about publishing a post. Okay? So publishing a post here is really important because then you could easily, this is where you can really establish thought leadership. Okay, guys. Maybe I'll do a different talk about how to publish a post, but take it seriously. You don't have to write too much, but do really thorough research and don't write anything too boring. Nobody's going to read anything boring. Make it a bit more personal. Okay, I hope that answers your question, Fu. Okay, Vung has a question. Uh, on the summary, shall we write in paragraphs or in points? The summary, please write in paragraph. It's a story about who you are. It's not, I'm a huge fan of points. That points you can write in the experience part, like, I have 5 years experience, I have managing whatever, that's fine. But would you describe your life in points? Probably not. So, make sure you write it in a paragraph form. And again, just go back to that page where I share with you here the next wave page. These have amazing stories. So, oh my gosh, these people are changing the world. You need to read it. You need to see why are they looking at the world so differently from you. And if you can just get 10% of their wisdom, I'm sure your page is already going to be fantastic. Okay. Alrighty. Let me see if there's anybody else. Duke, I hope you're on the page. Yeah. Okay. So, this is a too technical question. We'll take it offline. Okay, because I don't think the rest of the team is really going to benefit from this question. All right. So, okay. So I hope you guys are okay with this. And so bottom line is that my call to action for you guys is to first go ahead and recreate your LinkedIn profile, read the inspirational story, recreate your LinkedIn profile, then start adding people. This is where it's get the most fun, right? For me, if I added, targeted, and especially if we gone to the same universities, if you add 10 people, I'm sure if you gone to the same university, at least 5 of them will add you back. And you guys have gone to really good university. You guys are very lucky. You have no idea how lucky you are. So please go ahead and start adding people from there and building your connection from then onward. That would really help to open up. Okay, so Vung has a question about writing your post. It's an easy question. All you have to do is when you're logged into LinkedIn, you click on publish a post. Okay, now it's not like writing a blog, Vung. It's not like writing a blog in a sense that it's not just like share. Okay, how do I say this? If you're like an expert at something, yeah, like maybe Bill Gates, then he can share his opinion and it would, people would love to read it. But unfortunately, we're not at his level. So what you have to do in writing a post is, especially if you, first of all, you have to determine why you're writing a post and who's your audience. If your audience is potential recruiters, like, okay, like say you work in, let's just say, you now, you're working in healthcare, okay? And you still want to continue in healthcare, the same industry, that you can write a post, something about like the future new trends of healthcare or something that you see on a daily basis or something like that. And then, but yeah, you need to make it a bit more personalized, but you need to do a lot of research. So you can go ahead and follow my example here. I wrote an article on what climbing hill teaches me about sales. It is personal because it's about like me climbing some hills, but it's inside of it, I use tons of like quotation, like quoting other really famous researchers, research, and then other famous, people. So it's not just like, oh, me sitting here and just gonna write this in 5 minutes. Actually, this piece took me like 2 days to really thoughtfully write it, because it could work to your benefit, but if you don't write well, it could hurt you. So go ahead and do this. Now, another way to think of this is that if you can go to LinkedIn post like this, okay, and you can follow influencers. These influencers, they publish posts all the time, like Reeve Hoffman, right? Like Jack Welch, like any Huffington, uh, Richard Branson, Bill Gates. So these people publish posts all the time. You can start reading their posts first to have an idea. Once you read their posts, like, on a weekly basis, something like that, you have an idea what it looks like, then you can write your own. Okay. All right. Okay, guys, let me know if you have any other questions. Um, what we guys is go ahead and edit your LinkedIn profile. After you edit it, if you need me to review it for some opinion, first, unless, and then the next thing to do is go ahead and start searching people from or been working in an industry you like, reach out to them. Please do that. Even if you're not different interesting people. The next, if you want that, this is love, and reaching out to interesting people and buying them coffee, that sort of thing. So if you have any questions, I have to answer, but template, I'm sure you're gonna have